So let's get started with recreating the pub. So this is the pub. So if we're gonna study this pub, there are photos, there's brush strokes, there's text. So for the photos, what we're going to do is just drag them in. So looking at this pub, we have it here. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pen tool it. Okay. Make sure now we're on the file mismo. And then we're just going to kind of, that's the like aesthetic ng pub. It's like cutouts in paper. So it doesn't have to be super sakto. So what you do is you just kind of there. And since a pub, it's just half of their body. We just pen tool what we want. So that's kinda okay now. It's important to make it a smart object. So you have to rasterize the layer. So now, if you erase, syempre mawawala yung tao since it's the one inside the path. So what you do is Command-Shift-I. It captures yung nasa labas and ititira niyo yung what's inside. So there! Perfect! Tapos in the pub, there's parang naka-red sila. What I did is I made a new layer. I did paint bucket tool, tapos I put it on red. I covered them, and then what I just did was the opacity lower. So now parang may red silang filter. Remember na they're both in different layers kasi if ilalagay mo siya sa same layer tapos you cover it with the paint bucket tool, hindi na makikita yung photo. So now it's just like a overlay. Okay, so after that, I selected two of them, then Control T to grab them. Then I'll put them here. At the lower right, there's like a folder icon. So if you highlight these two together, just you click the folder icon, it turns into one group para di ka malito. Next, we have this one on yellow. Oh, another thing, if you want to erase lang, if you click letter E on your keyboard, it goes the same. It erases the photo. So if you rasterize, so important na you rasterize it. So after that, what I usually do is the text. So for text, new layer, it's important to do a new layer. We can also group all of these and have another folder, and then we can name them pictures, and then we can lock them. Bale, if we lock them, we can't move them anymore, all of them. For the text, the order now is actually my handwriting. I have a Wacom nga, I have a pen tab. So what we'll do is we'll go to my brush. So on shortcuts, that's B. And then we choose a brush that we want. So it's important if you're working, you know the brushes you like because you'll get bombarded with all the different types of brushes na you think are nice. So there, choose a nice brush. 1958, our branding is a lot of brush strokes. Yung kita yung the brushiness of it. You see that? It's important talaga that you kind of know what you're going for from the start. It doesn't matter if iba yung kinalabasan, but it's easier to maneuver what you're trying to do if you have a vision for it na from the start. So, what we're going to do is order now. So, yan, that's the sakit. If you wonder why it's hard and you should pay for your artist, it's because we go through stuff like this. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it's very annoying. Order now. Yee! Okay, pwede na yan. So, after that, so T, and then you can make a box para ito lang yung yun lang yung ma-occupy niyang space. Then, put it on auto. Or you can make it like closer to each other. And then make the letters closer to each other then. And you can make the font smaller. Then you add the text, which is if you're going to buy, if you're watching this, go buy merch at shopee.com/1958 merch. Then, hi, follow that. If you're watching that, follow and like our stuff. And then Control T, you can move it like that. If you want, because if you just move it, rotate it, it's wonky. But if you want like per angle talaga, you can click shift. So it's really toot, 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 toot. So next is my favorite part, the doodling part. There's really no right or wrong. The whole pub actually, there's no right and wrong. Unless like may specifications yung gustong pub. So we're back to brush. Okay, this is me choosing a brush na naman. It's usually like crayon type, like very halata. So let's do this first, the order now. So we chose red. When people ask me like, how do I figure out the doodles? You look online. First of all, everything is just inspo from inspo until you find your own touch. At this point, when my friends who aren't from JMA see the JMA pubs na sinashare ko, they can distinctively say, pag ako yung gumawa, doodling doesn't have right or wrong, so just go for it. I think a big part of how to know if it's a cute doodle or not is if it looks good. There's no proportions, there's nothing important, wala siyang specifications. As long as it looks good when you put it, then it's a good doodle and it's cute. So there, we have that. Then we have those squiggly lines. So yun, like what I said kanina, always put new layers. Okay lang if madami kang layers, Photoshop doesn't care. You're helping yourself lang. So I just draw whatever, kung ano yung bagay. And that's a big part of it. So if I look at it, since it's a doodle, because I don't like this circle, I can always erase it. There's no right or wrong, especially if you're just doing it for fun. If it's a plate, there's a lot of wrongs. Hate plates. Yeah, so there. What I did is I drew outlines for the photos para mas may spasa. So what I did was just choose colors. So we have white for the people here, new layer. Don't forget to label your layers, but look at me, I'm not labeling them. There. What I do for this, just follow the outline. It will look good. Just follow the outline. A big part of it talaga is just looking at it and then figuring it out if maganda siya tingnan or not. If you feel it's ugly, don't put it. If it's nice, keep it. So that's a fast version. I did that slowly. So this one, just to show you how it goes. And then if you're making art or Photoshop or pubs, a big part rin how to help your sanity is to ask your friends if maganda yung placement, is to ask your team if it looks good, if anyone was teaming with me when I was Procreate last sem and this sem. All our chats are just me sending screenshot if maganda yung pub or hindi. So it's a long process, but it's nice to end up with a great outcome. Same goes with this. I chose blue para mag-stand out siya sa yellow. So it's important to think of what stands out rin sa colors. Another thing pala, another hack is you see this, there's white, there's blue. If I click X, nag-interchange siya. So kung ano yung nasa taas, that's the color that will show. Tapos if I click X, it's white. So yeah, so if you want to interchange colors palagi, you can use that one. If you search on the internet, if you search color palette blah, a lot will show up. That's your question about choosing colors. That's what I usually do if I'm too lazy to like figure out, like choose myself. When you click pretend this color, this blue, you click this one, yes, it goes swatch
Oh,
27.
ang galing.
And then it shows up here, and then you can group them there. So yeah, if you're working on a project, if your team has certain color lang, it's super handy. So there. I like doodling. Same goes lang here. If you feel like this one's yucky, you remove it. And it's a lot of like that. Don't be afraid. Also, this is super applicable to people who have pen tabs, or it works the same, the whole doodle concept, if you have the iPad and then the pen. But if you just have a mouse, okay, I'm gonna try to draw with my magaling na ako from all these practice playing in, ano yung game na yun? Yung nagdo-drawing. When I play Scribble, tinatanong, nag-pentab ka, no? Na, dog! See? This one's no pentab. This is just trackpad. So, it works the same. So, you don't have to buy expensive stuff to make good stuff. So, what you do is... wait. For this one, okay. Kita naman here, if I remove the paper texture, super laking ambag niya. And this paper texture is actually one of my favorites. It's the glued paper texture. There. So what I do is I copy image to the pinakataas na layer and then paste. So it's weird right now because it's like, you covered the whole thing. But what you do is you're on the layer, so let's name it paper texture. And then you go here to normal, and then there's dissolve, darken, multiply, color burn, blah 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 blah. But what I usually do is just multiply, and then
Oh my
now you
God, ang
have
That's
it.
so
galing.
nice. That was wow.
And
Tapos
then
you decrease the
yeah, you can
opacity.
decrease the opacity and fill based on like how much you want it and stuff. So yeah, basically that's it. Obviously, the launch pub was so much nicer because This one more or less you got the idea. Tip lang is know your brushes. If you're gonna do stuff like this, super know your brushes. And then look for inspo. Um, go on Pinterest. That's my favorite. That's my holy grail. Go on Pinterest and then look for different pubs and then combine ideas together. So that's usually my process. So that's for pubs. At least 1958 pubs. Which you guys should buy our merch. Shopee.com slash 1958 merch and upjma.com. We have polos and mugs, but there are a lot coming. Oh, woohoo! Yeah.